Okay, so welcome to I Am That Gal from Milton, Ontario, Canada with.
I am that guy. I'm Roy Miller from Dallas, Texas. And thank you for coming to our monthly Unite podcast with Lift Your Story. We have with us today Maggie Perotin. She is a business coach. Welcome, Maggie.
Welcome, Lorianne, and welcome, Roy. It's great to be here.
Well, so what have you been up to since the last time we saw you?
Well, we saw each other before. What was it? December, right? Before Christmas and holidays. So that was nice, even though definitely different and quieter than regular, but it was nice. And then January, I don't know if it's for you guys, but it kind of seemed long, but it went super fast at the same time.
Did you find it was, sorry, I just wanted to ask, did you find that there was a really strange, like, quietness? Like there wasn't as much activity in January? I just don't know if that was, I just found that even on, Facebook or wherever I've been on LinkedIn, it just seemed to slow down in January.
Yeah, I think, like maybe, I think like the first 2 weeks, people are still sort of, recovering after Christmas or taking it slow. And then, and it's funny because, like I always hear about the Blue Monday, which is, I think it's the third Monday of the month, right? And I never thought it was a thing, but I think this year it's been a thing because that week I've seen so many posts from people saying, oh, I kind of, have blues. This is dragging. I want to travel and so on. So I think it hit sort of more people this year than maybe usually.
Yeah.
Even I was like, oh, I really want to travel. I want to go somewhere.
Everybody's tired of being stuck at home or not being able to get out and normally do the stuff they normally do. So it magnifies everything. I, in my opinion, anyway, it seems like people are just so discouraged and disgusted, tired of being locked down, can't just go do what they want to do when they want to do it. And plus, I guess you guys live in Canada, y'all got all the snow and stuff, which is normal for you guys, but here, if we have snow, we really get depressed. we only have it for a few days.
Interesting thought, though. I was watching because I'm on a pond, as you know, I'm on Mill Pond. And for the first year I've been here for 8 years, and it has been the most busy. We have a neighbor who is clearing off the snow and they're skating on the ice, which we haven't seen in years. And families getting out there with their dogs walking on the ice. I don't like ice too much, but it is cold enough now. They were starting a little too early and it was scaring me, but they're out there and I've never seen so much activity, but I skate, but the older I get, the more I don't like my toes froze. And I get toes froze when I go out with my skates and I have to come in, I got to heat them up, have a hot chocolate, go back out and you're okay again. But it's fun to see that activity and that people are getting out there.
Yeah, we usually go like since the lockdown, we've been discovering, woods nearby and different trails and so on. But today we were driving, we didn't go to the woods and by the river. And it was funny how two sides of the river are frozen and just the meadow is going in. But we did see people skating on a pond close by. So we thought about that. Oh, maybe next time we would take the kids to skate. Like I'm not a great skater, but I get that,
I just miss the cold.
You didn't grow up skating, Maggie?
No, you know what? I wasn't taught skating. So back in Poland, we have winters, and I remember there was actually a skating rink right in front of the apartment block where I lived. There were, either neighbors or whatever, they would pour water. So I'm self-taught. And, 1 year there would be one there wouldn't. And then in our town, we didn't have an artificial skating rink. So, I go forward, I can't do backwards that much. I go forward, but, it's good enough to take my kids and kind of have fun.
Yeah.
I took skating lessons when I was a kid. I took, Well, we were talking about yesterday with one of my friends that they're getting more and more hockey players to take it as figure skating because it gives you a lot more agility and such. And I took that for years. But then I remember getting back on skates when I was 40, and that was like 18 years ago. So that would be really weird. But I hadn't skated in about 10 years. And it was like, whoa, I can rollerblade easier than I can ice skate. I can get on rollerblades and I'm fine. But it comes back. I mean, it's like riding a bike, but on ice, you're kind of a little bit more like, I don't know. It's actually softer to fall on, but there's just something about it. Never mind, my feet don't get cold in rollerblading.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm sure you would remember. Maybe not everything. It's a bit of like this in the beginning. Maybe you would be, not sure, but I'm sure it would come back quick. It is a bit like, riding a bike. Because I remember too, like it's been a while since I skated. And then when I came to Canada, I bought skates and started doing it on and off a little bit each season. And then, kids, when they were little, I didn't skate. I didn't do anything. And then now they're a bit bigger, we go, but we never go too much. So, I don't get better, but I don't forget.
Yeah. Well, see, we had, when I was a kid, we had regular roller skates, with the little metal key and all that stuff, and so we had this little hill street that teed down into our street, had a little hill. So we would get on that, we'd squat down and try to go down there and make a little curve on the sidewalk, and most time you just shot out the street. Some people could make the curve and some couldn't, but we had people standing down each side of the street to block cars in case somebody had already started down, in case they shot out in the middle of the street, because there's no stopping. I mean, you're going a pretty good little speed. So that's what we did when we were kids.
That's nice. Well, you don't get the temperatures, right? Do you have indoor the ice rinks at all?
Well, not yeah, we do. Most of those are open sometimes just for public skating, and then others just hockey games, and hockey practice, because hockey leagues here are really starting to get real popular, for kids and stuff, and so they have to reserve the ice, and there's a building downtown called the Plaza of the Americas, and the whole first floor is a skating rink, and it's public skating, but they have a lot of the times the hockey players come in early in the morning and either play games or they practice. So,
I'd love to do when I was a kid. Love tobogganing.
Oh,
you can wear the warmest boots that you wanted to, that actually, never got your toesies cold, because you could wear all these nice little socks and get in the toboggan and walk up and then have that excitement about going down. But then, of course, you have to carry your stupid toboggan back up the hill again.
Well, see,
I have a story. I almost got sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I have this story from kind of wild tobogganing, if you can call it, when I was a child. So my grandparents lived in the countryside, and there were woods with hills, and they would make me they would put hay inside a plastic bag, and then we would go and just slide down those hills. And then one day I was sliding down and I was waiting. There was a carriage with a horse waiting. I don't know how it was going, what it was going for, but it was standing there and standing. And then when I decided I'm not going to wait, I'm coming down. And as I was coming down, the carriage was coming. It literally, I stopped underneath by the wheel, and the carriage stopped. So by the time, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll just stay. And so by the time I got home to my grandmother, I got in trouble because I think the owner knew and they told her.
How old were you?
You know what? I don't remember. It must have been between 8 and 10. Maybe.
Okay, so pretty young.
Yeah.
Old enough to remember.
Yes, old enough to remember.
To do silly things.
So our idea of tobogganing here would be, if it ever snowed, first, then you'd get a big piece of cardboard and you'd try to find the house that had the most slope in the yard. You go up there and you try to slide down onto the sidewalk. That's our idea.
You know what? There's so many now. There's so many like things you can do tobogganing on, right? There's like little motors, and there's like just the styrofoam things and the plastic things. Like even for our kids, like there's so many things you can do it on. And like again, I remember we just had a plastic bag and a hay inside.
And I'm thinking, I really want to go tobogganing, but I don't have a toboggan. And I like your idea, Roy. I'm just going to get some cardboard box.
It's a
Why
lot
not?
lighter.
It may only just be for a day, so why spend all the money?
Yeah, plus it's not as heavy.
Yeah, when you're lifting it up. They're actually pretty light though now. They're not too bad, the toboggans, now that not like when I first grew up. Yes, I'm aging myself, but where we had wooden toboggans.
Yeah, I had one too like that. Yeah.
And they were heavier, but you could get like 3 or 4 people on it. You have to be careful though. For people who are tobogganing out there, I just want to put a special note that just be careful. I did have a friend who went tobogganing and was not careful, and now he is he's lost, like he had a spine injury, and and he's in a wheelchair. And they were fine all night, and it was that last run that they were going on, and they hit a little tiny tree. And his friends were fine, but he was not. So just be careful. Just make sure there's not trees in the way or carriages, as with Maggie.
There are not that many of these around anymore.
Just be careful. Be careful of cars. Be careful of all that. It's really, really fun to do, but just be safe and just be careful. So,
have you ever stopped to think back of the things you did when you were a kid
that we don't allow our kids to anymore?
And you look back, you go, "What was I thinking? Yeah, I could have got killed doing that, you know." And
I know.
So, you know, and like Maggie says, there's no way my kids are doing that. So, I'll tell you what we did. There's a bunch of kids in our neighborhood, and this where the streets teed into ours was a street light. That was kind of the hangout point for the neighborhood. Everybody would get together and hang out there. Well, a couple of older guys lived there, so they had this bright idea one summer that we would all stand out in the street, and they would take an arrow and shoot it up in the air, and we would stand there till it came down. Wow. And we did that more than once. And luckily nobody ever got hit, you know, but you know, you hear the arrow hit the street and shoot off, or it's, you know, landed somebody. But, you know, I mean, there was probably 15 of us out there just standing in the street, and they'd shoot that arrow up in the air.
So this is somebody we may need to find for our podcast, is somebody who says, "Here are great sports, but here's what not to do." Like, don't walk on the ice when it's only 1 degree above and there's not been a lot of, you know, cold. That always, my mother was very strong about that. Make sure the ice is thick enough to walk on. That's a horrible thing if you don't do that. And then the other thing, quick story, because this might be an idea to get somebody to talk about, you know, winter fun sports and stuff and what to do or what not to do. My little dog was all excited because a squirrel ran on the pond, and she's usually really good and knows not to go into the water, but seeing the squirrel walk on the ice, and I know at this point it wasn't thick enough, I almost had a heart attack. And I was, you know, like when you yell at a child, get off, don't do that. It's like, boo, 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 boo. Because I know that they say it's horrible. If a child falls in, you're going to jump after them. With a dog falling, I've heard so many stories of dog owners jumping in and trying to save their animal, and the animal comes out and the person does not. So it's a really tough call, because all I kept thinking about is, if you go in there, am I jumping in? Like, luckily she came away. So what I learned there is I gated now, so she can't even get out. Like, that was a precaution I had to do, because dogs won't know. They just go running out. They go, whoa, there's something to run after.
I like cats. Cats are like, we have a cat and she likes to go out, but every time it snows and like our walkout in the kitchen is onto the deck, and before my husband maybe like just knows the deck, she won't come out. Like she wants to, she meows, and then she looks and she kind of puts her paw out and like, no, I'm not coming out. But then she meows at the house because she's like, I want to go out, do something. I don't want to go in the snow.
Yeah. Or you let them out and they make a U-turn and come right back in.
Yeah. I have a little one. She always looks like a kitten. She's about 3 years old now, but she looks like a kitten. She's so tiny.
Oh.
And for some reason, she's the only cat. I have 3 cats, so they're all indoor cats.
Mhm.
And this particular one is intrigued by the outdoors. And
Mhm.
it's like you, Maggie, she'll go out and she'll look around and then she realizes it's too cold. I'm a little bit worried about the summertime because it's only been this, the last few months she's been intrigued about
Mhm.
going outside and it's been too
Mhm.
cold. So that, negates her. Thank goodness she's slow too, so I can grab her.
Mhm. Well, you know what? We were scared because we took our cat, like we sort of adopted her from somebody who was moving back to Europe and couldn't take her. And before that, she was an indoor cat. So, the owner said like she'd never come out. But when we took her in, and I was in the summer, she was it the first summer? I think so. Like she was, looking and looking, and we are hanging out in the deck, and the poor cat is looking. I'm like telling my husband, like, it's an animal, like, try. So we put her on a leash for a few times, and she was fine on the deck and so on, because we were scared that she would just go out and never find her way back. But then when they were looking, she's out of the leash. She got herself out and she was kind of slowly going. So we allowed her to come out, but she's been good. Like she stays in the backyard. She'll just go out, stay, in the summer, she'll definitely stay along. In the winter, she comes out for 5 minutes when she can, and she'll come back.
Yeah. Yeah, I had cats prior to losing a couple to coyotes, sorry, but that was when I was on a farm. And so that affected me enough that I now have them indoors, and I am in a pond and there are, wild animals around here. It depends on where you are, really. But when I was living in another spot, yeah, I had 2 cats that were outside, and like you, they were only on the property. They never left the property. And they just roamed around and then just came back in. And that's okay, because that's a safer area. But yeah, you have to watch. It depends on where you're living. If you're in, in somewhere where there might be coyotes and stuff, you just want to make sure that they're safe, because they do go after them.
They do. And even foxes, we saw one day, like the kids were waiting for a bus for school. I think it was last year. And we're looking at, that was a different cat running across this street, and there's a fox running after the cat. So the fox attack, like they attack cats as well. It was pretty unreal view in the suburbs of Toronto, but
I heard this. And Roy, I know you have a question, but I have to tell this story. Talking about foxes, I had one of my cats, he was called Fat Cat, and apologies to anybody who might take that offensively, but he was really large. And he started off that his name was, it was different at the beginning, but he just kept getting larger and larger and larger and larger. And so, but he went out and he had his front claws done. And he would sit out, and one of my neighbors said, he came and knocked on the door. He goes, "You've got an amazing cat." So he's sitting at the bottom of the driveway, and he told me the story that the fox came right up to him, and my cat, even if he didn't have claws, swapped him across the front nose, sitting without getting up, just swapped him, and the fox ran off. And I went, "Oh my goodness." I said, "You're kidding." He goes, "No." He says, "That is how unintimidated this cat was. He really did not care. Come after me, go ahead, I don't care." Don't you wish you had that with some people sometimes?
So,
that's
we need to start warming up there in the spring, and where it's pleasant to go outside.
To go outside, it depends. March, April, but I wouldn't call it warm. We can still have some flurries. So it gets really nice and warm by mid-May, I guess.
Yeah.
But there are days like the year my daughter was born, she was born beginning of March. I remember within a couple of weeks, I was walking her as a baby outside and I was getting a sunburn. But that was, that doesn't happen too often. When in March, we have very nice and warm weather. It's usually, end of April or even mid-March.
It's very unpredictable, Roy.
Yeah.
Seriously, we don't know. Like our winter this year has been incredibly amazing.
Mild.
I mean, probably one of the warmest ones we've had in a long time. We did have a couple of snow dumps, but then there's other, like you sit there every winter and it's like, what is the lottery going to be? Are we going to have a good one? Are we going to have a bad one? Are we going to have the Chinooks kind of thing, which are really out from the west, but I call them the Eastern Chinooks, where you have like a week of really warm weather, but we never know. We don't know, but come July and August, the only thing that we do know, we'll have warmth, but we don't know how much rain we're going to get or sunshine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the other day, it was 28 degrees in the morning, and then by the afternoon it was 70 degrees.
Wow.
In the same day.
That's a lot of,
And like I said, we say in Texas, if you don't like the weather, just wait an hour and it'll change. That's no kidding. I mean, that's
We say in Canada, if you don't like the weather, move to Texas.
Florida. But you guys have your own problems. Like, I don't know if I could take that much heat, or you have very hot summers, no?
Yes.
It's so long.
Back in the 80s, we had like 6 weeks. It didn't get below 100 degrees.
Wow.
Now, is it humid there or is it dry?
Yes, it's humid. Yes.
It's humid, yeah. Because you see, I when I lived in Reno, we went through, when I was pregnant, that's in Reno, we probably had 4 weeks of about 100 degrees or plus, but it was really dry. So it wasn't the same. You didn't feel that heat because it was so dry.
Yeah.
Very different.
Everything here is either brown or green. I'm not joking. It's brown or green. That's it. That's the only 2 colors we have. So
we have, winter's usually white and gray, but then it gets color.
yeah, but you've got trees. I know, because it's Canada. When I was there the last time, flowers, absolutely beautiful. The parks, it's so clean. I mean, the only thing that sucks is there's no place to park.
True that. And when you do park, it costs an arm and a leg.
I mean, you see a building and you have to park 4 blocks over, and hopefully the person that lived there has left, so you can pull in their front of their house or whatever. It just, oh my gosh, it was really.
It is brutal.
But I can't. It was so clean, the parks and flowers. I mean, they're just freaking amazing. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful country.
We are lucky that way.
Yeah.
I remember going to, when I was younger, I went to Los Angeles, and, we had a little bit on the outskirts and such. And I guess like Reno was quite clean. I have to say that much. Like there's some, cities that are clean, but Los Angeles, I was like, I was young at the time, but I do remember it thinking, wow, like it's not like, Toronto has some areas that are not the greatest, but for the most part, yes, in comparison to some of the cities I've seen in the US, we're very lucky to be overall quite clean. Yes.
Yeah, when I was in Niagara Falls and St. Catharines and Toronto, all that, Hamilton, all that, it was mid to late August. The weather was fantastic.
Yeah.
But if you see a park, the parks there's tons of people in the parks, no matter where they're at. It's not that way here. The parks are crammed on the weekend because of soccer and lacrosse and all the sports stuff. But during the week, you don't really see a lot of people in the parks. But in Canada, every park we went by, there were people out there. Not just women with their kids. There were people roller skating, rollerboard, blading, riding bikes, walking. I mean, it was really different from what we see. Yeah.
Look at that. We're more active than we thought we are.
Well,
Yeah, no,
definitely
the
on the
outdoor
weekend,
thing.
there's more people.
Yeah.
Than during the week. Gets
Yeah,
busier.
I think I've told Lori Ann this story. I may not have, but we're in Canada and we were staying at St. Catharines.
Mhm.
Don't ask me why, but that's where we stayed. But anyway, so we go to check in the hotel, and so so I gave the guy my driver's license and my credit card. He didn't even look at my driver's license. But he took my credit card. He held it. He goes, "Oh, you're from the USA, aren't you?" Well, yeah. You got my license? He goes, "Oh, I don't need your license. I can tell by your credit card." What?
You can?
Yeah,
He
the
said,
numbers.
no. He said, your credit cards and ours they're a different thickness.
Oh.
Oh,
I said, you're kidding me. I thought he said, no. He pulled one out and he put them side by side. And I think ours were smaller, I can't remember, but they're different. They're different thickness.
Hmm.
And I thought that was strange, but he
That's
said,
interesting.
you're from the US.
no.
Or you should do the comparison. I had no idea. I thought they were all the same
I did too. I
around
just
the
thought,
world.
yeah, I did too.
I know there's number codes in it, but I
Oh,
didn't know
better.
that there were sizes that were different.
Yeah.
Interesting.
thickness.
Now we found something.
I think they're all the same size, it's just the thickness is different.
Hmm.
Which I thought was pretty weird, But I mean, really, to me, being in Canada is just like being in the US.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
everybody speaks English. Now, I didn't go to Quebec or Montreal, but
In Ontario and the other provinces.
There's a misconception there too, because I'm originally from Montreal. And yes, I know that Quebec City is probably more French, but if you go to Montreal,
Yeah.
if you can only speak English, you won't really have a problem
Mhm.
unless you make it a problem. See, that's the thing. If you go in with a negative attitude, they can feel it because they're very intuitive in Quebec. So if you're kind to them, they'll be kind to you. And I've gone in there as an English person, pretending I didn't know French, and I've always had the French people being really kind to me. Then sometimes I speak French and they pick up on my tiny little bit of an English accent
And they switch.
and they'll switch it.
Yeah. That's what happened to us, because when we were visiting, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to practice my French. But because, they heard my accent, they were speaking in English all the time. Like,
And then I
wanna
always
speak
tell
my
them, I go,
French.
no, I want to speak French. Keep speaking to me in French because I understand you 100% and I need to practice me speaking. But yeah.
they go, no, lady, you're killing the language. No, stop.
Stop,
Well-
our ears are hurting.
But yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's a misconception. I know that there's quite a few people who are saying that they had a really bad experience when they went there if they didn't know the French. But I can tell you that out of that's probably maybe 20% over the 80% who said that they were just wonderful in Quebec.
Mhm.
Well, when we went to New England, we were going to go over to Montreal because it's just right there.
Mhm.
But for some reason, I can't remember why, we didn't have time or something, but I would always, of course, that was back when you could go with just your driver's license, I think, back then.
Mhm.
You're from the States, but anyway, it's funny because after we left Niagara Falls and crossed over into the Canadian side, we gave them our passports and go, what are you doing? We're on vacation, we went on a like a Gray Line tour. Okay. And so we went to this place and we had to go in and show our passports. And so these girls in front of us, the guy said, okay. She goes, well, wait a minute. You're not going to stamp it? He goes, oh, we don't do that anymore. She goes, and you said this girl, like, you think you just kicked her in the stomach. She goes, I wanted my passport. He goes, come here, let me have it. He goes, there you go. I didn't realize they didn't do that either, because it's been a long time since we traveled. So I didn't realize they don't stamp your passport anymore.
No, not going through that. But if you
I
wanted
think
to show it, yeah.
They might do it for you as a courtesy, but I mean, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't do
Yeah.
it.
But if you do get a chance, I know, Maggie, obviously you've been to Montreal. I highly recommend that you go see it. It's got like the old Montreal is just absolutely beautiful. It's kind of like I call it a mini Paris. The buildings are not as thick, but there's a lot of history there, and it's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
And,
really nice. Quebec City is nice too. When
Oh,
when you go downtown, you can completely get by
It's-
with English. You don't need to know French, maybe like in more rural Quebec. But yeah, Quebec City is, we
Yeah.
did like a little tour once.
Is it the
Montreal and
cobblestone,
then Quebec City? It's
the
beautiful.
cobblestone streets and all that, like
they have in both
Montreal?
Montreal and Quebec City, they have the cobblestones,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
And the downtown core is just, it's so historically preserved. It's very beautiful, gorgeous churches. Even if you're not a Catholic, you've got to go and visit them because they're just fascinating, like really, and the history is beautiful. So one thing, I miss about Toronto, it's hard to find that center point. I mean, there are areas in Toronto that you can find, but not like Montreal and Quebec City. Definitely not.
Not
I think
like
that they're out of our in Canada, there's not a lot. You've got like Banff has that too. It's got its central. It's become a little bit too
touristy.
touristy, yeah, but beautiful too. Jasper's beautiful, but you got those little segments across Canada. You've got Switzerland, you've got France, you've got England, you've got Scotland, you've got all that in Canada.
Yeah,
like literally.
Well, now I thought Vancouver was a neat city.
Yeah.
And also Victoria. We went to Victoria as well.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah. I mean, I could think, boy, this would be the place to retire if you lived in Canada.
That's where my dad's grandmother, or sorry, my dad's mother's sisters retired in Victoria, the two of them.
Yeah, we went to Bouchard Gardens while we were there. Oh my gosh, that place is amazing. It is amazing.
Yeah. No, we've got beautiful. And if you ever can get to, Calgary and go over and see Banff, it's like a little Switzerland. And, the only thing I'm not sure about, and Maggie, I don't know if you've been across, I know we've got Saskatchewan, Manitoba, they're prairie. There are some historical parts to it, but driving through them,
I haven't driven through, but there's probably not much going on.
Flatland. So you just, I've looked into it, and there are little historical places you can stop along the way, but it's a very long flat drive across there, but they are prairies, and they have provided us with a lot of farming. And then you get to Thunder Bay, all of that place, northern Canada. Yeah, I'm just doing a thing on Canada, but seriously, I'm amazed by the fact that we have so many different cultures and so many different cities that are like, we're like a very large Europe.
Yeah.
You got to drive a lot further though to get from one place to the other.
Well,
yes.
well, yeah. I mean, whenever we took our on our 30th anniversary, we took an Alaskan cruise, and we didn't. And part of it, we could have had gone to Banff, but we didn't do it, and I regret not doing it. But we just didn't know at the time, So that's one of our things we might want to go back and do someday. And
if you do go back there, if they're still open, you have to go to their Swiss fondue place. We used to love to go to the Swiss restaurant. They have great fondues. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Maggie. I cut you off. Sorry.
No. I haven't driven. Like, there's been still a lot of places in Canada and US, because US is, I think it's diverse as well, right? Like East Coast to West Coast, it's different, and there's different. Yeah. So there's still many places that I want to go. I can't wait.
Well, it's like you're talking about how flat it was, Lorianne.
Yeah.
Well, Kansas in the U.S. is like that. The saying goes, you can drop a marble and it won't move. But it's flat. I mean, it's flat.
Yeah. But then you've got your Colorado, and you've got I'm telling you, when I was in Reno, it was beautiful. The mountains there were just absolutely gorgeous. And San Francisco is one of my favorite cities. People ask me, what are the two favorite cities you've been to? And I will have to say San Francisco and Montreal. Those are my two favorite. Quebec City's up there too, but I lived in Montreal, so it's a little bit of a personal thing.
I mean, to me, San Francisco, you go to the Fisherman's Wharf, you go down a little windy street, ride the streetcar, see the Golden Gate Bridge. That's about a good day. Get out of here. Go up to Northern California in the Redwood Forest. That's where the beauty is.
You just have to be more of a tourist. But Sonoma Valley is very beautiful.
We went to the vineyards at what do they call it out there? Whatever it is. Anyway, we went to the vineyards. We went to the Muir Woods. But I tried to tell Barbara, because I'd already been to San Francisco when I was a kid. I said, no, let's go to Northern California. San Francisco is not what you think it is. But she wanted to go, and then we went, and she goes, yeah, well, I wasn't that impressed. I told you we should have went up to the forest, because, I mean, you can stand and look at those trees, just as far as you can see is trees.
Wow.
They're 4 to 5 foot in diameter. When I was a kid, you could drive through one. They had one hollowed out on the road. You drove through it. That's how big those things are.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that. We're doing geography today. This is like lift your story, reunite, and this is what we do. We just talk about whatever. But in saying that, I just want to, we did last time, we listed everybody that was on our podcast, but I just want to bring up the fact that thank you, Maggie, for being a part of our group. That's really important to us. And then we had since December, which was part of your team, we also had our last one, which I don't know that I mentioned at the time. I think I did. Adam Groh was on there, and Sarah. But in January, we had Jill Lublin, who's a master publicity strategist. She was quite enjoyable. Peter Beckenham is a solopreneur, and he joined us from Thailand, which was really interesting.
Nice.
And he removes the fear of sales. We also had Doc Grayson. Honest to goodness, anybody watching this, you've got to watch this man. He is just amazing. Roy and I just love him, and everyone who meets him loves him.
Yeah.
And his story is amazing. He was like, he's a professor of and author, handwriting expert, radio announcer, and magician. He's also in his 80s, and he's still going strong. Just beautiful man. And then we also had Amy Wickett. Love this one, very different. She's a lice buster. So she calls herself the head nitpicker, which means that now how many people out there have ever met anyone who does that for a living? Mm-hmm. She will go into your home and remove the lice in your children or your hair if you end up with a lice infestation.
Wow.
With non-chemical products. And she is an expert at it. And she even took all the courses for it. So that was amazing. And if you watch that, wasn't that amazing, Roy? Some of the stats she had.
Yeah, and I had no idea that even was a profession.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, but it was very interesting. It was really interesting because it's stuff you don't know anything about. You had never really heard about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I was a kid in school, elementary school, there was kids that had lice at school.
My kids too.
Oh, I didn't know. Anyway, but that was just kind of one of those things, lice. But that's it. I didn't really know it was as bad as it is in area for people and what's involved of getting them and getting rid of them. It was really interesting. Very interesting.
So I just thought I'd announce that. And Maggie, because you've been on here, we just absolutely enjoy this, and we don't want to keep you too much longer. I'm hoping next month we have more. Last month we were able to have a few people extra, but I know, again, like I said, for some reason January has been a little bit different. Yeah. And we'll make sure that we send out the invitation again for the end of February. But I would like you to please just tell people what you do and how to find you as a guest. We'd love that, please.
Sure, thank you. I'll try to do my best to join next month and then to connect with others. I'm a business and leadership coach, and I really help women entrepreneurs who are service-based online gain consistent and paying clients, because that's the biggest challenge, especially in the first couple years for entrepreneurs. So that's what I focus on. And then how we do it through, mindset and business skills like marketing and sales and so on, and the time management or high productivity, because as women, we have a lot going on. We have kids in school right now, right? Or maybe part-time job or schools and so on. So making sure that you're effectively utilizing the limited time that you have in growing your business is important. How to find me? I'm part of the group. So you can always friend me on Facebook and PM me. But my website is stairwaytoleadership.com. So the company name, my business is Stairway to Leadership. So stairwaytoleadership.com. You can find me there as well. Thank you.
Great.
Oh,
Perfect.
really, really excited to have you here. It really makes us happy. And I do want to throw in a little quick to, Roy and I tend to be super humble and not say anything, but we just want to let you know that we do have a book out. Roy is a contributor to, and it's called Makeup Not Required: How to Brand the True You. You can find it on www.makeupnotrequired.com. We just would like anything that comes in. We are also looking for contributions. We would like to support, the new entrepreneurs going out there. I believe I have a link on our site, but I'm going to have to update it. We're just updating the site, but you'll be able to find it there because we do believe in entrepreneurs, edifying them. We'd love to do that. And I believe that, if we can even get together and bring some young entrepreneurs with our Lift Your Story group, because we have a bunch of you out here, and maybe do that down the line, that would be really fun to go to a university and say, hey, we want you to join us. We've got a bunch of entrepreneurs here that you can ask questions to. I think that's where we're going towards. That probably won't happen until April, May. Like, we have to have the university people out of university to have the time to do it. But that's something that we're looking towards as a project of ours. So
yeah.
That's it. That's my spiel. And Roy, do you have anything to say as going?
Well, no, Maggie, thank you so much for being with us. It's always good to catch up with people that, and see what's going on and what's going on in their life. So we appreciate you coming on and spending time with us, and just kind of having fun.
I have one quick question. Finally, Maggie, I've got one more quick question for you. Book, author, book. Do you have anything?
No, yeah, I have a journal. So here's my journal that either I give my clients, or it can be bought on Amazon like that. So yes. So
very nice. And they can find that on your website and order it. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dream, plan, do. Okay. And that is a journal that people could purchase on Amazon.
Correct. So, in any country or most of the countries in the world.
Beautiful.
So. Great.
Thank you.
Wow. Nice.
And this is January 31st, the last Sunday of January. We're moving into February. Yeah. And we hope that whoever's watching this, please join us on the last Sunday of February. Does anybody know what date that is? Really quickly. Come on.
I can tell you.
I have my calendar here. I should know this.
Let's see. The last Sunday will be actually the 28th.
Yeah, last day. Oh my goodness.
28th February.
28th of February. So please join us on the 28th of February. We would love you all to join us. And thanks again, Maggie. Thanks again, Roy, also for being my partner.
Thank you, Lorianne. Thank you, Roy.
Appreciate it.
It was great to meet you.
It was great to
everyone.
meet you, Maggie.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.